Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to use the Screencastify Video Editor. So the first place you might see this Open an Editor button is when you first finish recording a screencast, and it'll give you this preview window where you can check out your video. You can click Open in Editor to make any changes you want. You can cut out pieces of your video, trim the ends, zoom in, crop, add titles. There's a lot of things you can do. But anyway, let's say I close this. Maybe I want to work on it later. So another place you can find this is if I go to the Screencastify extension, which looks like a little arrow with like a video camera in it. And then once this loads, I can find all my recordings right here. And so once I open that up, if I click on a video, I'll go back to that preview screen. So let me show you what that looks like. So here I am again, and then I can go to open an editor. Now, another thing you could do is go to that extension again. And let's say maybe I've already been working on a project and I want to find the editor. I can go to those three lines right here and then select editor, and it'll load whatever project I have been working on. If I don't have a project in here, it'll just be blank. And I could always go to this plus to add more clips, and I'll show that in just a bit. And there's one more place that I could find that editor, and that would be in my Google Drive. So you should have in your My Drive a folder that automatically gets created for you called Screencastify, and that's where all your screencasts will automatically go. And so mine was called multiplication. So here we are. So I could either right click on this and then select open with and select Screencastify Video Editor, or if I double click on it, at the very top, I'll see a drop down. And so if you don't automatically see Screencastify in here, you could click on the little drop down triangle and then select it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And here I am in the editor once more. So a little bit about the interface here. On the right side here at the bottom, this is a bar where I could drag the little circle around if I want to zoom in. So you could see that at the bottom here, my clip was growing, but it doesn't actually change the length of the video. I can see here this video is 1 minute and 18 seconds. So if I zoom in even more or zoom out, that time doesn't change. It just helps me zoom in so that when I want to cut out things, I could do it more precisely. So that's why I would use this feature here. At the very bottom here, I see another bar. So if I have a very long clip, or if you zoom in, this bar appears where I can also drag that to move around my clip to help me find whatever it is that I want to play or cut out. When I do want to preview the clip, I can click anywhere on the clip and then click on this little play button. So now my video is playing and I can pause it right here. So click anywhere you want to start playing your video. All right, now I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I could show you how to add more clips if you want. So let's say I recorded something else on my computer, I have a file, or on my Google Drive. I can click on this blue plus to add a clip. And so, for example, let's go to my Google Drive. Maybe I have some more screencast in that Screencastify folder that I want to add. I could just search, and now I can see all my videos here. And so you could select one, or you could actually select multiple. And the way I would do that is I might click on one of them and then hold down the shift key. So if you want to do a few videos in a row, I could hold down shift and select the last one. Or I could hold down the control key if I want to select a few that aren't next to each other. So that's one way that you could select multiple videos. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one, and maybe I'll select this one as well. And then I'll click the select button here, and it should start loading those two clips right down here. I could also go to add from my device. And so here I have one video clip, and then I can just open and it'll start adding that file as well. So now I have 4 clips here. So now I have all of the different clips here. I can click on one at a time if I need to select an individual clip. And if I want to delete one of them, as long as it's selected, highlighted in yellow as you see, I can always click on this little trash can if I end up not needing a certain clip. Or you could click the backspace, the delete key on your keyboard, and that'll also delete it. So now let's look at these tools. So first of all, I need to select a clip. I can see that all of these are grayed out except the text. And that means that right now I can currently add text if I want, but I can't do anything else. So if I want to actually use the scissors to cut something out, I need to click on a clip. And then I might look around. Maybe I'll play through the clip and find where did I make a mistake? Where's something that I wanted to cut out? Or you could kind of click around and it'll jump through the video, right? And then find exactly where it is that you want to cut it out. So let's say I wanted to cut out something in the middle. And now I can see, now that I've clicked on the clip, that the scissors are white. So I can click on it, and now you see that it broke this in half. I have this one clip over here, and if I click here, I'm selecting that other clip. And then, so let's say I wanted to cut out this little piece here. I could find wherever it is that I want to cut. So there's the end of what I wanted to cut out. And so I click there and click the scissors again. And now I can see that I have this little piece here in the middle that I want to cut out. If I happen to make a mistake, maybe I didn't cut it quite right, I can always go up here and there's the undo and redo buttons. So here I undid what I just did, but then if I change my mind, I could redo. And so then I could just click on this little clip and click the trash can and it's gone. And so you'll notice that there's no empty space here. Right away, it slid all the clips together for me. Another thing I can do is trim the clips from the beginning or the end. So let's select this one by clicking on it. And now I see it's highlighted. If I mouse over the beginning of the clip or the end, I see these little dots, and that's where you can grab the clip and actually just drag to cut the beginning, or I could drag to cut off the end. So I'm trimming the beginning and the end. And again, if I make a mistake, I can undo up here. Now let's look at the crop tool. So for example, in this clip here, if I go to the crop button, it asks me to draw a rectangle to crop the clip. So I'm going to draw a rectangle around only the parts that I want to see. It's a little bit like zooming in, but it does it for the whole clip. So I can click and drag and then let go. And so this is all I would see of the video. It's going to cut out all of this border here. If I make a mistake when I draw that rectangle, I can adjust by pulling on the circles here. So maybe I'll cut out that part too. And when I'm done, I can click right here. If I need to reset, I can. And again, it does it for that whole clip. So if you didn't want to do it for the whole clip, you might want to use the scissors to cut it before you begin. So I'm going to click done. And now I can move my playhead. I'm going to click at the beginning of the clip and preview what it looks like. So I can click that play button. So I could see that it's more zoomed in now since I cut out the edges. And by the way, you can also preview, play and pause by clicking on the space bar on your keyboard to play and pause. Now let's look at the zoom. So I'm going to select this clip here, and then I might move my cursor around to decide where exactly do I want it to zoom in. Maybe here when it's about to catch the diamond. So I'm going to click right there in my clip, and that line stays right there. And then I'm going to click on the zoom tool. And now you can see it added a little window here, and it also added this little green zoom icon here. So what I can do is it's going to zoom in and show only this when it zooms. If I want it to zoom in more, I could make that space smaller. You see where that little hand shows up when I mouse over it? That means I can drag it. So if I need to move that square around, I can drag, or I can adjust where the circles are. Let's say I'll do it like that. And if that looks okay, I'm going to go ahead and click on this to close the window. And now I'm going to preview it. So I'm going to go a little bit more before the zoom icon, just to see what that transition looks like. So I'll click there and watch it. And so I can see how it zoomed in and zoomed out. If you need to edit the zoom, just click on that green zoom icon again, and it'll open up that window. So I could move this if I need to, and I can adjust the transition speed. So that's how fast it zoomed in and how fast it zoomed out. I'm going to go ahead and click on this again to exit that. Another thing you can do is you'll see that there's those little dots at the beginning and the end of that green icon. So if I want to make it zoom for longer, I can actually stretch this out as far as I want it to zoom on this clip. You can see I'm trying to pull it onto the other clip, but it won't let me. The zoom is just going to be for that one clip. So I could drag and adjust from the beginning or the end, and I can actually drag it around too. So if I put it in the wrong spot, I can move that little green icon and decide where I want it to zoom. And again, I can click before that zoom to preview what it's going to look like. Oh, that looks pretty good. So maybe I want to keep it like that. The next tool is the text tool. And so you can add text. Again, you'd click anywhere on a clip and then click on that text tool. And you can add as many as you want onto a clip, but they can't overlap. So it's going to be one text bubble at a time. So for example, I just clicked in a random place here, and then I'll click on text. And so now you can see that this has been added here. You have a few options, but it's not as flexible as some editors. So I'll show you. So for example, here I'll type skip counting. And then what I can do is I can use these tools here to make it bold, for example. I'd want to highlight it, and then, you could decide which ones of these you want to use. Here you could change the color. So if I have the text highlighted, I would click here and change the text color. And if I click out of it, I could see the change. If I highlight it again and click on this one, I can change the background color of the text. So maybe I'll click that one. So now you can see I changed the background. I could change the font, but again, you have to have it highlighted, and then you only have a few choices. So here you could change the size, but you just have a few options again. So right now I think it's set to normal and huge. That's the biggest it could possibly be. I can't actually drag the text around. I have to select it, and then I can choose that right here. And so this one here is the alignment. You might change if it's left aligned, aligned in the center here, or to the right. So that's this one here. And then the very last one changes where it is as far as up and down. So I could choose this symbol right now. That's it's aligned to the middle, or I could move it to the top, or I could move it to the bottom with this down arrow. So those are the options you have for text. At the very bottom here, you could see that it added this text bubble. And so if I click on it, I can click and drag to make it longer. So however long this is, that's how far the text is going to appear. So I'm playing it, and now that it reached the end, it disappeared, right? So if I wanted this text to be in the whole video, for example, I could drag this edge all the way to the end of the video, and I could drag this one as well. Or I could just leave it in one spot, because this one in particular said skip counting. So I'm going to leave that there. So I could click anywhere I want and add another text box if I want. I can add as many as I want. And I could drag it around if I need to move the location of the text. If I have the text box selected and I don't see a blinking cursor, I could just click and then find it here and then type whatever it is that you want to type. So those are all of the editing tools in the Screencastify Video Editor. One thing I wanted to recommend when you're done working on a project, or when you're done for the day and you want to work on it later, I would recommend exporting it even if it's not done, because in Screencastify Video Editor, you can only work on one project at a time. So I could always go back to the Screencastify extension and go to those 3 lines and open the editor again, right, to continue working on my project. But if you record a new screencast and you open up the editor again with that new clip, it's gonna overwrite whatever you have in the editor. It can only save one project at a time. So to avoid any accidents, I would definitely export whenever you're done editing. And you have 2 options for exporting. If I select Export MP4, it will save an MP4 of this video onto my device. If I select Export to Google Drive, it's going to save it in MP4 format to my Google Drive Screencastify folder.